Once upon a time, there was a prince named Marv who wanted to marry a princess from a nearby kingdom. She was beautiful and intelligent and incredibly talented when it came to archery. He was short, bald, and pretty clumsy. He wondered, how will I ever win her love? One day, it was announced that the kingdom that the princess was from was going to host a contest to see who would win her hand in marriage. A summons went out to all neighboring kingdoms with eligible princes. The most deserving prince would win her hand. The competition arrived, and 3 princes arrived. One was tall, with chiseled good looks, blonde hair, and piercing blue eyes. Another was very tanned, with broad shoulders and bulging muscles. Then there was Marv. As they introduced each prince, so that they could address the princess, each one bowed. Marv fell on his face. The first challenge was a foot race for 20 miles. The bugles blew and they were off. Well, the tan one and the blonde one were. Marv tripped. Eventually, Marv caught up with the other 2 because they had sprinted too far, too fast, and they were stopping to take a break. Marv took out a flask and filled it in a nearby stream, then shared with the other 2. They each took a drink without a word, and then the blonde one tossed the flask to the ground and shot off at full speed. Just then, the birds in the trees shot up into the sky. Marv picked up the flask, filled it, and set off on his steady pace again. This happened 4 more times before the end of the race, which was won by the blonde prince. The second challenge was a strength challenge. The princes had to pull a sack full of rocks to a wagon and then put it in to be hauled off. The princes tugged and pulled, and the tan prince easily hefted his bag of rocks into the wagon. As he walked by the blonde prince, he quickly whipped out a small dagger and, unseen by all, sliced open the blonde prince's bag. The next tug saw the bag tear and all the rocks fall out. Marv, who was not too far behind the other 2 princes, immediately offered his bag. The blonde prince took it, dumped all of Marv's rocks out, and walked off to fill his own bag. Marv was left to haul his rocks by hand, sometimes 1, sometimes 2, sometimes 3 at a time, to his wagon. The final challenge was a courage test. In an arena for all to see, the 3 princes had to sneak past the 3 hungry lions and steal the flag that represented their kingdom. The blonde and tan each ran right at the lions, yelling loudly. The lions slashed and clawed them, and they limped back to Marv, who had tripped once again at the starting bugle. Marv tore pieces of cloth from his tunic to bandage the wounds of the other 2 princes. They once again charged the lions. This time, Marv ran as well, distracting the lions by waving his hands in the air and saying, "Nya, nya." The blonde was able to get past the lions and capture the flag. At this announcement of the winners, all 3 princes stood side by side, bandaged and bruised. The blonde stood tall, sure he had won, as did the tanned. Marv stood, his face downcast. He knew he had missed this chance to win the heart of his beloved. The princess stood and called out, "There is one final challenge. Tell me why you should win my hand." The blonde spoke loudly. "I was the fastest and demonstrated my bravery and cunning at every turn, and I am clearly the best choice to be your husband." The tan one yelled even louder. "Aye, but I am clearly the strongest. With me you would have nothing to fear." Finally, Marv spoke. His words were not boastful, nor loud. "I would take care of you, be there for you, and never take you for granted. For to be loved by you would be a greater honor than any speed or strength I could possess." The princess spoke. "I've made my choice. I've chosen the fastest, strongest, and bravest man here today to take my hand in marriage." Both the blonde and the tan stood taller, looked sideways at Marv, and chuckled. "My choice is Marv." The crowds gasped. The blonde was indignant. The tanned fainted. Marv looked up at the princess, stunned. "But my lady, how am I the fastest, strongest, and bravest? I won none of your contests." "On the contrary, you won them all. You were the fastest to offer your own water to the other 2 runners. You were the strongest, for when you found adversity, you did not give up, but found a way to carry on. You were the bravest, for you risked your own safety to help another win the very thing you most desired to win. For marriage is not a race, nor a test of physical strength, nor about fighting hungry beasts. It is about caring for each other, overcoming trials, and sacrificing for your beloved. You alone, Marv, showed these qualities. They are the ones I most desire in my prince." Marv walked up to her as she walked to him. They leaned in to kiss each other and both tripped over rocks and fell to the ground. "Besides," laughed the princess, "I need someone just as clumsy as I am, for laughter is the heart of a strong marriage. And they lived happily and clumsily ever after. The end.